Do you know where your routes are for your test drive? Do you know how to, if your customer's stressing about plates, where to go? Do you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and why to do it? Yes or no? And if not, we got work to do.
You could have the same products as the people down the street. You could even have the same promotions, but you will never have the same people.
If LA doesn't give a fuck about his wife and kid, why is he going to give a fuck about me and do what I need him to do for my wife and kids? If his wife and kid is not enough to motivate him to do his job, what am I going to do? Scare him into being better? No.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? This is L.A. Williams, Vice President with Dealer Synergy and the co-creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, also known as the Blind Phone Master. And man, I'm telling y'all, I'm pumped up, fired up, super excited. Why? Because we get an opportunity to spend some time with you and the one and only Mr. Sean V. Bradley. What's going on, Sean?
What's up, my brother from another mother, Mr. L.A. Williams? Yo, this is SVB, and the place to be is the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast, and I am him. I am that guy. I'm the Millionaire Car Salesman. All right, so LA, man, today I'm excited. You know why? Because we are going to talk about management. About management. Specifically, I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, Sean, how do I create a one-on-one? And I'm like floored because I would think that if you were a sales manager, but especially if you're a general sales manager or a general manager, you have the skills, the strategies, and the tools to conduct a proper one-on-one. So LA, is it surprising to you that there's so many managers out there, especially new managers that are like internet directors or BDC directors that have no idea how to do a proper one-on-one?
I want to say yes and no. Here's the reason. Because number one, I am surprised because you would think that when you were coming up in the game, right, you got a really good one-on-one. It's almost like, being a good teacher or being a good parent, right? You had either some good experiences or some bad ones. And you said when you were growing up, I'm definitely not going to do that, or I definitely am going to do that when you were growing up as a kid, or even in the business, right? There was a manager, someone who meant a lot to you that did great things for you and you want to emulate what they're doing, or you had a warning, right? I always say either people are an example or a warning, right? And so you had some of those people and you say, oh, well, I'm definitely not doing that. I'm doing this. So when you get the position of being a manager, you've got to have a game plan, right? But then I'd also say that I am not surprised in the simple fact that so many people are promoted maybe sometimes without even them kind of knowing it. They're like, yeah, you're a manager. Yeah. Okay. Right. And they never really had the chance to prepare, because I believe that in management, one of the number one things you can do is prepare.
Well, I'm going to dive into this after we pay some bills, but all I'm going to say is this. If you are a sales manager, BDC manager, internet director, GSM, GM, F&I, if you have a team, even if you are a fixed ops manager, service manager, and you got service writers under you, if you are in the office, if you're in title, if you are accounts payable, accounts receivable, you're a controller, if you got a team under you, then this week's episode is going to be very, very powerful. This is experience, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm sharing from training hundreds of thousands of professionals in multiple countries. Over almost 30 years, we've been, in business and in the automotive industry. That's a long time. So LA, let's pay these bills and let's get cracking when we get back.
Absolutely, man. I always want to make sure that folks get an opportunity to not just hear from us, but hear from the people who make the podcast happen financially. We'll be right back, y'all. It's the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast.
If you're looking for the absolute best automotive sales training from the #1 millionaire car salesman in the world, Cody Carter, who sold 1,408 units in 2023 and made $1.2 million in personal income, make sure you sign up for Cody's 24/7 video on-demand training, tracking, and testing certification program, Sell Like Cody. That's right, Sell Like Cody is on Bradley On Demand. Cody covers absolutely everything in his successful selling process. If you want to learn how to sell more cars, more often, and more profitably, enroll now at bradleyondemand.com or contact Dealer Synergy today.
Thank you for calling Doing It Wrong Motors. How can I help you?
I was looking at the tan 2023 GMC Terrain. You guys still have that?
Oh, sorry. That vehicle's been sold.
Could this be happening at your dealership? Get the Dealer Synergy team to handle calls the right way. We'll gather all the information, drop it in the CRM, set a solid appointment with notes, so all you have to do is sell. Do yourself a favor and go to dealersynergy.com for a free demo.
And no more of this burning through phone-ups nonsense.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And again, today we're talking about one-on-ones, having a conversation with your teammates one-on-one. I mean, obviously, we do all the meetings, the sales meetings and all of that good stuff. Everybody's seen that. But how do I take a person, sit down with them, have a conversation with them that allows me to elevate their game or allows them to maybe elevate their game? Sean, can you talk to us about the value of a quality one-on-one?
100%. But LA, I'm going to ask you a qualifying question first, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You want me to explain to you this the right way or the wrong way?
I kind of want to find out the wrong way, because let's talk about what folks are doing. Can you tell us about the wrong way? What are people doing?
Yes, this is the wrong way. The wrong way, first of all, the biggest wrong way is not having a strategy or not seeing the value in doing a one-on-one and, having that knowledge. That's wrong right there. So that's wrong. Another thing that people are doing wrong is that they're just assuming something incorrectly. Okay. And I'll explain when we do this the right way. But again, Dr. Covey says, seek first to understand and then to be understood. What happens is managers think, I'm the manager, I'm the boss, I got the big desk, I'm at the tower because I'm me, I'm going to tell you what I think and you're going to do it because that's the way I said it and da-da-da-da. But again, that's incorrect because you are not understanding potentially what their learning style is, how they learn, how they comprehend information, the science communication, and all those things. So that's incorrectly when they just straight try to just explain, and without seeking first to understand. Again, first seeking to understand before being understood. And I'll explain how to do this the right way. The other thing is not being consistent. Not being consistent. If you don't do one-on-ones, consistently, there's really no value, or there's very little value, or at the very least, not as much value. I would say that not having a reversed engineered custom strategy for their one-on-one. So one size doesn't fit all, and sometimes a manager, especially an untrained or unexperienced manager, what they're going to do is not, be prepared the right way, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, these are really, really powerful things that, these are mistakes that people are making that's costing them automotive sales. Sometimes it even costs folks their jobs, because when your manager, when your owner realizes that you aren't a really good person doing one-on-ones, they're like, okay, maybe I need to get somebody else, right? So, all right. So now we kind of know some of the things not to do. I'm sure there's more, but let's kind of flip it and start talking about some of the things. What's the right way to do it and the real value of doing a quality one-on-one?
Okay. The first thing is knowledge is power. Okay. Like G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. So understanding as a manager or as a leader of the department or the dealership or the dealer group or whatever, if you are the leader in charge, you need to understand and believe that your mission, your responsibility is help your subordinates do more, be more, and achieve more. A manager's job is literally defined, in my opinion. I need to provide all of the resource that my team is going to need, whether that's technical resources, their strategic resources, their financial resources, their emotional resources, their support resources. I need to identify each and every resource that they're going to need to be able to do their job. Simultaneously, I need to proactively anticipate everything that's going to be a challenge or prevent that person from being successful, because I need to understand and believe that, again, it is my mission, it is my responsibility, and it is my privilege. You get to do this. You are a manager. You get the opportunity to coach, mentor, teach, inspire, lead, train a human being. And if you do your job correctly, they're going to be able to make more money for themselves. They're going to feel better about themselves. They're going to be successful. And it's all because of you. But if you don't do that, you got to realize that you could be hurting people. And if these people are working for you, right, you are probably making more money than them, unless your pay plan sucks. And then you're probably not good negotiators. You're probably not going to be good at one-on-ones. But all kidding aside, if you think about it, you probably make more money than them. And you're probably, if you're a high level manager, you're getting paid off of multiple people. So you got to understand something, especially if you are training like BDC reps or salespeople for one-on-ones. Those people only, for the most part, make money off of their individual performance. So if you don't do this, they're at the mercy. Can you imagine? Like, I want you to be a human. What if somebody's got a kid that's sick? What if somebody's mother's got cancer? What if they're trying to buy their first house? What if somebody's, family's pregnant? What if what you can teach them, what you could evolve them to is better? You got to also understand something, folks. There's a reason why there's a 70 to almost 80% attrition ratio in our industry. Did we hire them dead or kill them after we got them? Which means that if you hire the wrong person, that's on you. That's a whole another podcast about HR. But if you had somebody good, a potential good, but you didn't have the right onboarding, the right infrastructure, the right training, and the right reinforcement through one-on-ones. So you got to understand and remember, I'm still in the first part of this, LA, that there's difference between skill path training, personal development, professional development, and team building. As a manager, you have to be responsible for all of the above. Now, so the mindset is that this is what you need to know and be able to do. LA, tag, you're in.
Wait, because I want you to repeat that, Sean. I really, there's a lot of things that you say that are my favorite things that you say. And that is one of them. When you break down the 4 things, and I know we've talked about it in other podcasts in the past and things like that, but I think this is a apropos time, right, to mention the 4 things again and break that down, because today we're talking to the managers, right? So that there's 4 different types of training. Like, could you break that down one more time? A little slower this time for them.
Yeah, listen to me. A lot of managers don't realize there's 4 separate categories. Okay, you've got skill path training. Okay, that could be like for showroom sales, the road to the sale, how to do the greeting, how to qualify the prospect, how to go into product selection, features and benefits, walk around presentation, demonstration drive, service walk, get the first pencil or negotiate, close the deal, turn it over to finance, prep for CSI, CRM adjustments, and on to the next one, generate referrals, right? Whatever you want to be. That is skill path training. Each piece of that road to the sale is skill path training to do your job. Separate from skill path training or product knowledge training or that type of stuff, you have what's called professional development. Most people don't even understand this. Okay. So if I was your sales manager, okay, and let's just say, LA, if you were on the floor, right, and you were a showroom sales consultant at, let's say, Schultz Lincoln, you working for a Highline store, you're good. And I'm like, LA, what is your number one instrument? So pretend like you were like a musician, but you're not. You're a car salesman. What is your number one instrument as a car salesman?
My voice.
Your voice and speaking and communicating. True or false?
True.
Okay, so how is knowing the road to the sale or Lincoln product knowledge going to maximize your biggest tool or instrument, your voice and your communication skills?
Yeah, not a whole lot.
No, not at all. Okay. So there are 2 different quick recommendations for professional development to sharpen the saw, sharpen your skills, your ninja skills in speaking, in articulation, communication, ad-libbing, vocabulary, pace, tone, inflection, neurolinguistics, all this stuff is the art of speaking, the art of communicating. And if you mastered this communication and art of speaking, you will sell more cars more often, more profitably. So how do you get professional development in that skill? Toastmasters. Toastmasters. All you got to do is Google Toastmasters in Pittsburgh or Toastmasters in Wexford, and you're going to find, in Pennsylvania, you're going to find a bunch of Toastmaster stuff for like $100 a year. It's really cheap. Or the National Speakers Association. I'm sure there's a chapter in either Pittsburgh or, Pennsylvania for your local chapter. And then there's the national chapter for the NSA. So that's professional development. So now we went through skill path training. We went through professional development. The next thing is personal development. What if you're a hothead? See, Dr. Covey says between stimulus and response, we have the freedom to choose. But some people are hotheads, right? I don't know who else you know on the team that's a hothead, but they do exist. And so if you want to get better, maybe how to win friends and influence people. Okay, or take a course or an online there, or read a book that's going to be how to deal with difficult situations, how to de-escalate situations. That is personal development that could help you in your field. So
maybe they can come talk to LA during his emotional intelligence session at NADA, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, heck yeah, absolutely. LA. Oh, by the way, congratulations on being a featured NADA 2026 speaker for emotional intelligence. Shout out to you for doing that, brother. And we're going to be exhibiting, another big booth at NADA this year. So now, and the last thing is going to be team building. See, a lot of times managers, do the incorrect thing. They're like, okay, if you do a great job, we're going to take you to steak dinner. That's a team building. No, that's a bonus, my dude. That's a bonus. Because if you're incentivizing somebody to do something, then you're talking smack to them, oh, you don't really deserve this. That's not team building. You're withdrawing from the emotional bank account. And I don't want to be preaching to the emotional intelligence guru over here like you, but again, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, quack, quack, it's a ducky ducky, right?
That's it.
Idea is this. You want to be able to do team building. One of my favorite stories is what we did here at Deal with Synergy. We basically, because we're tied into the Philadelphia Eagles, everybody knows my wife used to do music with you in the entertainment industry. So Trey Thomas, who's a Hall of Famer Philadelphia Eagle, is a personal friend of me and Karina Bradley. His niece, Tiana, was Karina Bradley's backup dancer and did a bunch of music videos for my wife and for you when you guys were doing music. So when he retired and became a Hall of Famer, he had a radio show in Philadelphia, but he also opened up a franchise of Pino's Palette, which is one of those sip and paint things. So what we did at Dealer Synergy is, we decided to shut down his entire thing. We booked Trey. So we had Trey Thomas, a freaking Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Famer, at his paint and sip establishment in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And it was just only our team. He first started out by signing autographs, jerseys, helmets, and hanging out with us. And then we had an instructor on stage. And basically what it was teaching us to listen and work as a team. And you being completely blind, you painted a beautiful picture. It was so freaking good. It's been sitting for years in our beautiful lunchroom at Dealer Synergy headquarters. So the idea was the entire team was in a team building exercise to talk about following directions and working as a team. So we got to do something fun and collaborative. Another idea would be like one of those escape the rooms, so you have the ability to have your people go and do an escape the room, and you might have multiple escape rooms that are happening, so you don't have 35 people in one escape room, might not be possible, but it's forcing them to work together and talk and collaborate and solve challenges, solve puzzles, and solve, problems as a cohesive, interdependent team, LA.
Yeah, we just recently did that too at with one of my other companies, and it was definitely a lot of fun. More fun than I thought it was going to be. And I thought as the blind guy, I was going to be like the slacker, but I was able to offer some help. So it was kind of fun, man.
100%. So does that make sense? So now, with that, so now that the mindset's there, let's now go into the first thing. So putting first things first. If I am a sales manager, internet director, whatever manager, and let's just say my employees, the first thing that you want to do is you want to start tracking your employees. Most managers don't do this. So you could either, get your own CRM. There's individual CRMs, or there's individual tracking systems, or you could do a spreadsheet, or you could do a Google Doc. There's a myriad of ways how. Forget about how. It doesn't matter how. The what. What I want you to do is create a list. So if I have 5 to 10 employees under me, let's just say if I'm a sales manager, I got 10 salespeople under me, somehow I'm going to track and keep track of each one of my employees. So let's say LA is one of my employees. First thing I want to be able to do is create what's called an employee profile. An employee profile. I want to be able to rank you. I want to rank you on, let's say, a 3-point or 5-point, tracking system. Let's say 3 points is easier. 1 is you're either brand new or you're underperforming. 2 is you're satisfactory, or 3 is you're above average. That's really simple. It's to the point. It's bottom line, right? So I'm going to rank you when you come in based on, like, even if you're a brand new hire, okay, but if you've worked somewhere and you're averaging 20 units, and I can verify that, and I can verify your paycheck stubs and your CSI online, and that's there, okay, then you're not a 1. You know what I mean? You could be a 2 or 3, based on your experience and your results. However you do it, you need to benchmark somebody from the beginning, right? Based on attitude, aptitude, experience, skills, CSI, results, and a myriad of ththings. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to create a personalized profile. I want to know about my subordinates. Okay, I want to know, your home situation, married, kids. I want to know what your hobbies and your interests are. And there's a point coming in a couple minutes. I want to know what's important to you, because some people, it's just money, cash rules everything around me, cream, dollar bill, y'all, my Wu-Tang voice, right?
Yeah.
But some people, it might be time, it might be their family, it might be their mission in life, it might be altruism, it might be community, it might be whatever it is. So don't assume, just because in the automotive industry, not everybody is just money hungry. You know what I mean? So maybe what really is important to them is having purpose, or being, appreciated, or being validated, or being, kind to, or whatever it is. You want to put that down. You want to identify also, and this is important, what type of learning style do you have? Is LA a kinesthetic thinker? Is he a visual thinker? We could tell you what he's not. He's blind, so he's damn sure not a visual thinker. You know what I mean? So I'm kidding. He might be. You know,
That's true, though. That's true.
Yeah, so, but what I'm saying is that it's imperative, because if I don't know, how can I teach you, coach you, or train you? For example, let's say LA was dyslexic, not blind. He's just, and I'm like, read this. What are you, stupid? What are you,
right.
how many times I got to email you shit? And I'm like, because I'm dyslexic. I mean,
right.
Again, it's so you need to understand, do you have any learning disabilities? For the record, legally, you can't ask somebody that before you hire them, because that's illegal, right? However, if you've hired somebody, you could say something like, hey, LA, listen, my goal here as your manager is to give you every resource to be successful. And my job is to coach you, mentor you, and train you. But I've also am very experienced to understand that people learn differently. I've got certain employees and team members that, they learn the best by, watching a video, or watching, something. Or being in a class and watching an instructor. Some people, they just got to hear it. They could listen to it. They could listen to a podcast. They could just hear the instructions. Some people have got to write it out, or they've got to, if it's about product knowledge, they seeing it and hearing it isn't going to help. They need to get into the car, turn it on, and feel this and feel that, and they're kinesthetic. Certain team members, employees that are hybrid in certain things like product knowledge, they might need to be kinesthetic. But in certain things like statistical analysis and wants, wishes, expectations, they need to just hear it. So I don't waste your time. I don't frustrate you. And so we can get the most out of each other. What is the best way that you learn? Dr. Covey says, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Seek first to your employee to understand what is their preferred, what is their optimal learning in that. LA, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think this, and it's so important because sometimes people don't even know the answer to those questions. And so I think it's really important you got to find certain things out. I'll tell you, for me, whenever I'm doing a one-on-one with a person, I find out by asking them, okay, if we're doing something, if I'm asking someone to repeat something, I literally have people who can repeat it just like that. And then I got people who might, I struggle with a little bit. Now, here's what I don't allow people to do. You're not going to make an excuse like, oh, LA, I need to write it out before I can say it at all. No, that's not what I'm saying, because that's me challenging your willingness to even give it a shot. But I don't mind if you attempt to repeat it and you don't say it quite right? If you don't say it as good as the other person that said it, okay, that person may be an audible learner, right? And so I totally get that. Again, but that teaches me what type of learner a person is, right? They might need a visual person. Some people put it up on the screen, and some people can just say it just like that. They can close their eyes and say it because they saw it, right? Maybe a photographic memory style type of learner, right? But then you got some people who need to, the best way for them to actually learn it is by saying it out loud. I believe I think that, yes, I'm an audible learner because I've had to develop that skill, in the music business and all of that good stuff. I got to learn to play by ear. But I really thrive in doing the thing, right? When I actually physically, that's why I love the Please Touch Museum as a kid, because I want to be able to touch something to understand. One of the things, our producer here, Griffin, he has a 3D printer. So there's things that you hear about it all the time. The Eiffel Tower, you hear about but he'll 3D print me something so I can touch it to actually experience what the doggone thing is. So you got to really do you have that much care? Do you have that level of care for your employees, your teammates, right? To make sure that they're getting what they need. I love what you said, Sean, about how making sure that you have the resources to be as successful as possible. That's phenomenal.
No, brother, 100%. So now the next thing I want to identify is what motivates you. Again, I said this before, but this is what I do. I say here, two things. So if I'm coaching LA, I'm building my profile. LA, as a manager, I want to know something small. Like if you do something great, let's just use a gift card. What type of gift card are you? Are you a Wawa's gift card, which is like, 7-Eleven, if people are not from our area, right? Wawa gift card. Are you a Starbucks gift card? Are you a McDonald's gift card? Are you a Visa gift card? Or are you a Olive Garden gift card? Are you an Amazon gift card? Are you a Nintendo gift card? I ask it for two different reasons, but let's answer. So LA, what type of gift card person are you?
So I would say, number one, I'm a Visa gift card person, but if you want to give me something specific, give me something for my wife, because that's the number one person who I want to be able to please. So my wife, my son.
So I'm already tracking. So the Visa, this gives him more options with it instead of putting him Pinjatol. So that tells me something right there. Plus, he might be straight money, but then he said something else that's not about money, because he basically said that his wife. So now I know his wife's really, really important. Now, it's his wife. Well, no, not necessarily, because most people won't say, oh, no, just get me something for my wife. But that tells me a lot what's important. I could use that for leverage later on, not in a bad way, but I might turn around and say, let's say he did something good. Hey, LA, I want to just reward you. I want to just thank you so much for, what you did here. You went above and beyond. So I want to turn around and give your wife, you said to me the other day, I heard you that your wife loves Vermont teddy bears. So I want to turn around and give you like $100 Vermont teddy bear card. Now, not only did I give him a reward, but it was personally relevant for him and his most important thing, which is wife. This is a deposit into the emotional bank account. Now, what managers need to understand is that, things happen when we yell at somebody or we react a certain way, it's not equal. Whenever you withdraw from somebody's emotional bank account, it takes 5 deposits to clear the ledger. So what I'm saying is if you overreact or you stress one of your employees out or whatever it is, you can't just do one good deed and it's all good. They might say, boss, it's okay. They want to freaking stab the pillow, or scream the pillow. But so again, wouldn't it be great not just to do a random emotional deposit, but when you're doing a strategic, specific emotional deposit, it could really be, oh, wow, he remembered that. Oh, wow, he's going to make me look like a superhero, because when I go home, I'm going to give my wife, Naima, a Vermont teddy bear. Wow, that's really cool. She's really going to love that. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. LA, any thoughts on that?
No, man, you're absolutely ripping it, man. I think motivation is, while I say like the fake kind, right? The, hey, come on, y'all, let's do it. That stuff fades, right? But when you just talked about emotional deposits, right? Deposits into the emotional bank account, that's real motivation. That kind of stuff that's stuff that lasts, right? Because what do I say all the time? People will forget what you did. They'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So we're going to get into some more stuff about motivation and some different things that you can do to have high quality one-on-ones. But before we do, we're going to let our sponsors have a quick word with you, but we'll be right back on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
They're the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system. doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley on-demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
And we're back. This is SVB and LA Williams on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. And we are talking about management and specifically how to maximize and why to maximize one-on-ones with your team members. So now, right before the break, we had went into, again, basically giving you some skills. So LA, I want to now take it up a notch. So
let's do it.
In addition to, identifying how they learn, what motivates them, I want us to create what's called a SWOT assessment. Not like LL Cool J, SWAT as in the police. SWOT with an O, not an A, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So hear it out. This is how I present. Hey, LA, part of the way that I want to manage and help and coach you is I need to understand, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Based on your strengths and weaknesses and our current situation, the dealership, I'll be able to articulate your opportunities. But almost the most important thing is your threats, meaning challenges, what's going to prevent you. So let's play. Okay, so LA, what would you feel that you are the absolute best at as a showroom sales consultant? What are your strengths?
My strength is actually making phone calls and talking to customers and getting them into the dealership.
All right. So you're not shy about pounding the phones and the guerrilla follow-up work that it takes. Okay, right. Good. And then you're obviously very good, not only for the attempts, but when you have engagement, you're great at conversions and get people to show up. Okay. Now, based on that, what would you say your weaknesses are?
Sometimes when after people get to the dealership and we're all friendly and everything, it kind of weirds me out when they get weirded out about the numbers. I'm asking them for these, thousands and thousands of dollars. And it feels like I'm asking a friend for $40,000, $50,000 a bunch of times a day.
Okay. So I think LA, that the opportunity there is through proper training on, word tracks, process, the road to the sale, clarity, that would be able to get counteracted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that.
Now I'm going to ask you a very important question, LA. What do you think is going to prevent you from achieving success in this position? Now, this is a self-evaluation, so that might be internal. Like, is there something, and let me finish the full question before you answer. Is there something inside you, whether it's like, a self-doubt or a fear or frustration, or is it you just lack the experience or the training? Or is there anything external from you? Let's just start at the dealership. Is there anything with your coworkers or with management or even with me? This is a safe place, LA. You have amnesty. I'm asking you this not to trap you, but I'm asking this so I can help you. Or I also want to find out, is there anything external? Is there anything that you're working through, whether it's a relationship thing, where it's a family thing, or it's a health thing, or it's an attention thing, or a time thing? Is there anything in any way, shape, or form, internal or external, at the dealership or at home that's going to prevent you from being successful?
Well, I will say that I know I don't thrive in like really, really loud environments. So sometimes when I have to be at one of those desks that are, in the showroom where there's a bunch of stuff going on, I can't really focus. So if I can have maybe a desk in the corner, or if I can, just have some walls, right? That really helps me.
Okay. There's nothing personality wise or relationship wise in the dealership or at home that's going to prevent you from crushing this?
I'm not that I know of. So, I would have to figure that out.
God.
Maybe I'm a nice guy. Maybe that's what the problem is.
That's good. But I want you to also know that my job is not just to talk numbers with you. And my job is not just to try to get you better product knowledge skills or objection rebuttal skills. My job is literally to be whatever you need me to be to help you. So I want you to know that you could come to me, brother, for whatever you need. Like, my door is always open. Look, I'm married. I've got 4 kids. I've been with my wife for a long time, and I've dealt with crazy situations on family, personal, etc. I'm not perfect. I'm not a therapist, but I am your friend, and I am responsible for your success. And I take that responsibility very seriously. So if you allow me to, if you trust me a little bit, I promise you, you can confide in me, and I'll keep everything private. The only thing is, obviously, if there's something that's going to hurt the dealership or if you're going to hurt yourself, those are the only two things I can't keep quiet. Anything else you share with me is private, I promise you, especially if it's personal stuff, but allow me to help you. Sometimes in life, man, we take too much on our shoulders. It's a little bit easier when you could spread that burden or spread that stress across. And I'm going to tell you, our dealer is awesome. He gives me the full support, and that's why I'm giving you the support. So LA, would you commit to me if there's anything internal, external that will prohibit you from doing your job? You'll let me know and give me an opportunity to help you work through it?
Yeah, definitely.
Stop. LA, what do you think about that?
Right, that's ridiculously good.
Well, that's what a manager should be doing. A manager should not just be caring about, just
y'all need to bookmark that. We need to timestamp it. We need to put that in the show notes. I mean, listen, it needs to be mandatory listening for every manager in the daggum industry. We need to strap them down and pour it into their ears and eyes and whatever, the kinesthetic side of it, make them say it. I mean, that's exactly what folks need.
But LA, listen, we say that car sales is a relationship business. How are we going to go around and lie to our people? How are we going to tell people car sales is a relationship business, get them to like you, trust you, and believe you? But then, as a manager, I don't give a fuck about you. I said flock. That's my own little made-up radio word, right? I don't give a fuck about you. I only care about what you could do for me. How much money can you make me? I need more money. Go back on the block, make me some more money. LA, go get me some more money. I need some more ups. I need some more deliveries. But I don't care if you're hurting. I don't care if you're missing your kid's recital. I don't care if your wife's pissed at you for working bell to bell again and again and again. I don't care that you're exhausted. I don't care if you have high cholesterol and you're one Twinkie away from having a heart attack in my lunchroom. You know what I mean? How can I say that car sales are about relationship business if I don't care about you yourself? Here's the thing, managers. I'm telling you, look, the customer is everything, but so is your employee. Because if you treat your employees the best, they're going to treat your clients the best. LA?
Yeah, I mean, there's a book, right, called The Customer Comes Second. And that's what they're talking about, right? Hopefully it kind of tweaks something and people go, no, the customer comes first. No, the customer comes second, right? Because we have a process, we have a thought process here at Dealer Synergy where we talk about people, process, products, promotions, right? Well, people, right? Because your process could be the same as the dealer down the street, right? You could have the same products as the people down the street. You could even have the same promotions, but you will never have the same people, right? So you got to pour into your people.
Now, so after you have your subordinate do the SWOT assessment, then you as a manager add your notes. So there's two. What does the employee think that their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are? And then what you as the manager think their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. Because some people, you got to understand, are at the different maturity level. So let me break things down. LA, we're about to go in on this one.
Let's do it.
So this is the whole benefit of the Franklin Covey 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Folks, me and Karina Bradley, the CEO of Dealer Synergy, just spent 2 full days with the Schultz Automotive Group in Pittsburgh. They have 380 employees at Schultz Auto Group. They have 4 Ford dealerships, 1 Lincoln dealership, and 1 used car dealership. So they own 6 stores. You know what they just did? Monday and Tuesday, they literally had 46 of their executives, 46 people, stop what they were doing for 2 days to just learn the 7 habits of highly effective people. Why? For management and leadership. You got to understand that humans are broken down into what's called the maturity continuum. There's 3 classifications. And unfortunately, most people, most employees, it sucks, but they are what's called dependent or codependent. Those are people like it's your fault. You make me feel. It's the manufacturer's fault. It's the finance manager's fault. It's the sales manager's fault. It's the marketing's fault. We don't have rebates and incentives. It's Trump's fault. It is, and Biden's not even been in president for a while, but it's his fault. It's everybody's fault. These people are dependent or codependent. So as a manager, you need to profile what type of employee you have: dependent, codependent, A, or B, independent, or C, interdependence. Now, I'm going to tell you the majority of your people are going to be codependent or dependent. Some of your people are going to be independent, and very few, if any, are going to be interdependent. And it is your job as a manager to get them through the maturity continuum. You've got to convert people that are codependent or dependent into being independent. And you got to convert people that are independent to interdependence. Now, interdependence is what you are seeking in your department. It is what you're seeking in the dealership. It is what you're seeking in your organization. That is a culture about collaboration, synergy, interdependence, etc. So now, in addition to this, if you have someone that's codependent or dependent, they might not be able to magically give you the SWOT analysis. That's why I'm saying that you need to be able to do your own side-by-side SWOT analysis. So now we've got that. So now we've got this. Now you got to remember, okay, the 4 Ps: products, people, process, promotions. That's how a dealership is made or broken, maximized, or underutilized. That's how a department is maximized or underutilized. But that is how an individual is maximized or underutilized. So if I am LA's sales manager, I want LA to know about the 4 Ps. So I'm going to say, LA, on the floor, there is the 4 Ps: products, people, process, promotions. For products, you need to have product knowledge mastery. In addition to that, it's not just products as inventory, it's products as resources. So what resources do you need to know and have and utilize to be able to do your job? Well, on the floor, you're going to need, besides inventory, right, and product knowledge, you're going to need the dealership's website, the OEM's website, the third-party provider, websites for information, not for marketing, right? You're going to need a CRM, your cell phone, the dealership's IP phone system. If you have any other software, artificial intelligence, digital retail, credit apps, trade appraisal forms, etc. First and foremost, LA, do you have all the tools and access to all the tools that the dealership has paid for? Yes or no? If not, we got to get you that access. Have you been trained on all of these tools? Yes or no? And just that doesn't mean that just because they say, yeah, I've been trained, they've actually learned something. So the first question: has you been trained? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Well, prove it. Have we inspected? Has anybody at the dealership verified that you know how to use the website, other than asking you, do you know how to use the website? Yeah, of course. Has anybody done anything to verify you know how to use a CRM? Yeah, of course you use CRM. No. Has anybody taken the freaking time to test you and verify and inspect what they expect? Most of the time it's no. Okay, great. And here's the thing. Let's say you have all the tools, you've been trained on the tools, and they're set up the correct way. Are you using the tools? Yes or no? No? Well, that's what I could coach you on. Next is the people side of things. Do you know your pay plan? Do you know how to use your pay plan? Do you have the right schedule? Do you understand your schedule? Do you know how to maximize your schedule? Do you know your job description? Do you have a copy of your job description? Do you know it by memory? I don't know. Do you know your dealership's mission, vision, value statements? Okay. How often are you training? How often are skill path training? How often are you doing professional training? How often are you doing personal training? How often are you doing team building? When are you doing training during the day at the dealership? When are you doing training on your own? These are all important things you need to understand. Now, for process, do you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and why to do it? Let's go through some stuff. Do you know the road to the sale? Do you have it memorized? Can you recite it forwards, backwards, inside and out? No? Okay, then we have work to do. Do you understand how to qualify a prospect? Do you know how to identify wants, wishes, expectations? Do you know how to properly do a product selection? Do you know how to do a features and benefits walk around, presentation? Do you know the proper way to do a demonstration drive? Do you know how to do a service walk and introduction to the service department? Do you know how to negotiate or close the deal? Do you know how to properly turn over to finance? Do you know how to properly, ask for CSI or online video reviews? Do you know how to, properly put them into F&I? Do you know how to help do the delivery process, etc.? Do you know how to make inbound, outbound phone calls, inbound, outbound text messages, inbound, outbound chats, inbound, outbound social media DMs? Do you know how to handle inbound, outbound videos? Do you know what's your TO process? What's your dead deal process? What's your appointment confirmation process? Let me jump around. Do you know how to do the key machine? Do you know where your routes are for your test drive? Do you know how to, if your customer's stressing about plates, where to go? Again, do you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and why to do it? Yes or no? And if not, we got work to do. And then promotions. Do you understand the difference of the opportunities provided from the dealership, from the manufacturer to the website, to the dealership, through digital marketing, through conventional marketing? What is the dealership stuff versus you? Do you know how to build your own brand within your dealership, right? Do you know how to do what T Got Your Keys could do? Do you know what Cody Carter can do? Do you know how to maximize social media, video, online reputation to build your brand? You know how to generate your own referrals. You know how to generate your own prospects. LA, what do you want to say on that?
All I'm gonna say is this is probably one of the best podcasts we've done in a long time. I can't believe you giving this away for free. It's crazy, right? Because this is a podcast that I'm personally going to bookmark and make sure that I listen to. And listen, we're not acting like I don't know the stuff. I know it, but man, I'm telling you, it's such a good reminder to hear Sean literally just rattling that stuff off. Man, because here's the deal.
Yo, I'm not done, son. Yo, wait. I ain't done. Give me some, bro.
Even though I know the stuff that he said, can I rattle it off like how he rattled it? No. And I'm willing to admit that, right? So, man, I'm telling you, I'll be listening, Sean. After you keep going. Give us some more.
Watch how deep down the rabbit trail it goes. Check this out. How are we complaining, this salesperson ain't shit. This person sucks. This person ain't nothing. This person that. What have you done? You don't even know. It's like, here, let me ask you a question. I'm going to be real about this, right? If Jesus Christ came back and said, I am the Lord Savior Jesus Christ, most people would think he's crazy, wouldn't believe him. Right or wrong?
True.
Because you think about this. So how do you know that you don't have what you need? Most people don't know. Here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. Create a list, managers, of the ultimate salesperson or the ultimate BDC rep or the ultimate service writer or the ultimate subordinate, the ultimate employee for a salesperson. If I was going to do this, I would turn around and say, okay, begin with the end result in mind, which is Covey's second habit. What would be the ultimate, unbelievable, holy crap, I got the ultimate. I won the lottery and I got the ultimate employee. How could you ever win the lottery if you don't even know what that lottery prize looks like? You know what I'm saying? You got to say, okay, I'm looking for somebody that's got this skill, this personality, this experience, this knowledge, who has these results. You should benchmark them like 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many bullet points that makes it. Think about this. You know what, LA, what's your favorite food? Quick.
Let's go with pesto. Some sort of pesto.
Okay. Yeah. So do you understand, if you Googled whoever is the ultimate chef for pesto, there's somebody that's the ultimate pesto chef. And I guarantee you they've got a recipe for that. And in the recipe, it's not speculative. There's details. There's X amount of this. There's X amount of that. There's a pinch of this. There's a dash of that, right or wrong. If you follow those ingredients, bellissimo, magnifique. It's going to be delicious, right or wrong. So that's what it is. Like, how are we judging people when you don't even have a recipe? Where's your recipe to be able to reconcile? So now you've got something to aspire to. So if you say that 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is important, okay, great. Now that you've benchmarked your recipe of the ultimate person, now all you've got to do is reconcile. Okay, LA's got this, but LA's missing this, this, and this. So now I'm going to lesson plan how to get him those ingredients. Maybe LA, he doesn't have enough sugar, right? He doesn't have enough sugar. So I need to turn around and get him a little more sugar in there, right? Now, that's only part of it. If he's on the floor, then I'm going to say, LA, okay, great. I'm going to walk him through these next things here. LA, just so I know, you're in sales, brother. What's important to you and your beautiful queen, Naima? and your son Jeremiah. And I talk to him with those people because I want to trigger that. And it's more than just LA. Psychologically, look at what I'm doing. I'm now putting his relationships out there because let's be honest, managers, if LA doesn't give a fuck about his wife and kid, why is he going to give a fuck about me and do what I need him to do for my wife and kids? If his wife and kid is not enough to motivate him to do his job, what am I going to do? Scare him into being better? No. So again, he should have enough desire to be better for himself and especially for his wife and especially for his son. And there's a way to do that without being condescending and sarcastic. I'm like, LA, listen, I know you love your wife. How I know that? Because when I asked you what's important to you, you said, man, don't worry about the gift card for me. If you're going to give me a gift card, do it for my wife. So that leads me to believe that she's very important to you. True or false, LA?
True.
All right, so then listen to me. Then my job is to make sure that you make your wife proud. You make Jeremiah proud and you're able to maximize everything. So with that being said, what are some things that you and your family want? Whether that's a house, a car, money, freedom, vacations. And now I'm helping him to establish his vision board. I'm helping him establish his why. Because you know what's up? If your why is so important, what you have to do is not going to matter. I need him to understand what his why is. Why are you at work? Why are you coming here? Why are you coming in early? Why are you staying late? Why are you learning the CRM? Why are you doing all the stuff that weak ass people don't do? Because you've got purpose. Her name is Naima. You got purpose. His name is Jeremiah. You got purpose. His name is L.A. Williams. My job is help you to maximize your purpose. Let's go. And then I'm going to get him to be able to create this. I'm going to show him videos from The Secret, The Laws of Attraction Manifestation. I'm going to tell him to create a 3-minute book. I'm going to tell him to create a vision board. Now I'm going to help him, like a boss that I am, reverse engineer his financials. LA, let me just tell you this. Most people are financially illiterate. Most people don't know how to manage money. So let's reverse engineer your financials. How much money do you need and want to make this month? Okay, let's say you need to turn around and have $6,000 to crack your monthly nut, and you want an additional $2,000 to be able to, put some money into 401k, spend a little money in some Facebook ads, social media ads to drive some traffic to you, generate your own ups. All right, okay. So let's say you need and want to make $8,000. Great. How are you going to do that? Well, first, you need to understand about your tax liability, right? Which is what? So approximately, if you need to want to make $8,000, you got to gross $12,000 to be able to expect after taxes and employment stuff, this and that, you have your 8. Okay, so basically the question is, how are you going to gross $12,000? That's answered off of one variable, your ACPC, your average compensation per copy. Okay, great. So if your ACPC is $400 per copy, you got to sell 30 units. If your ACPC is $5 per copy, you got to sell 24 cars. If your ACPC is $1,000 per copy, you got to sell 12 cars. What is ACPC? What you do is you take last month, last quarter, last year, whatever. Let's just say last month, you take every dollar you made at the dealership legally from if there's any base, your base, or if there's just a draw, then no. Your commissions, your bonuses, your OEM spins, because a lot of companies are doing spins again, your spiffs, your cash bonuses, etc. You add every dollar you made legally and divide it by how many cars you sold last month, last quarter, whatever, and that's your ACPC. So let's go through it. If LA needs and wants to make $8,000, he's got to gross $12,000. How he's going to do it? If his ACPC is $400 per copy, he's got to sell 30 cars. Now, LA, we're going to get cars from, and normal people are, I'm going to work hard, take ups. Not good enough. Not as your coach, not as your manager, not as your one-on-one, buddy here. No, I'm going to say, LA, listen, I want to give you the highest probability of success. One of the reasons why, people don't ever hit their numbers, why the national average is less than 10 cars. The average salesperson, Elon Musk has got robots moonwalking on the freaking moon. Okay. Not literally, but soon, right? And we can't even sell more than 10 cars. What's going on here? There's Neuralink plants. There's cars that drive themselves. There's all this stuff, but we can't sell freaking 20, 25 cars. What are we doing wrong? So what I'm going to say is this. Here's one. NADA says that the average salesperson is only triggered on 2 to 3, whereas there's 8 ways to sell cars: walk-in, be-back, internet, phone, prior, referral, service, and the loss out of prospecting. So now it's a little bit easier because now you can take those 30, sales that you need, and now you have 8 different categories and so on and so forth. So part of the one-on-one is projections and forecasting. So what you need to be able to do is, as a manager, you have to give your people the absolute best clear roadmap. So many people do a crappy job, managers, no disrespect, but it's real. Work the service drive. No, Sherlock, no. Sherlock, I know service, but I don't know how. And nobody, all I keep hearing is, Work the service drive and nobody tells me how. Treat cars like your own business. If I know how to own my own business, I wouldn't be working for you. I have my own business. Teach me how to own my own business, fam. Damn.
I love this because yes, you sound like the way Nick Sirianni, Super Bowl winning coach of the Philadelphia
Go
Eagles.
Birds,
He says,
go Eagles.
Absolutely. A lot of times, there's coaches that'll say, their receivers, you got one job, catch the ball. Okay, I know that, right? How do I catch the ball? If you want me to create turnovers, how do I create turnovers? What are the fundamentals of creating a turnover, right? So little things like that. The reason why they're a Super Bowl winning team is because they don't just say catch the ball. I'm gonna show you exactly how I want you to catch the ball, right? All of those schemes, whether it's throw the ball, block, tackle, whatever it is. So that's what we got to get the details of it. There's more details than most managers either realize or are willing to explain.
Man, 100%. Here's the other thing too. So what we talked about is mindset preparations for these one-on-ones. And then we're doing projections and forecasting. So projections and forecasting are designed to be able to give your people a roadmap. I mean, can I just tell you, LA, the reason why I love navigation is because I get lost because I'm distracted. I'm doing business. I have ADD, whatever excuse we want to hear. So I love that I just put in my GPS where I want to go, and it magically tells me what to do. Hey, there's a cop there. There's a toll there. There's traffic there. Recalculate. But managers, I'm telling you, if you give people a more clear, more precise, GPS with clinical precision, projecting and forecasting, they're going to be more successful. But here's the imperative part: there needs to be a tracking system. Your salespeople should be tracking. Okay, how many ups do they get? Where are they getting their ups from? So not just the source, but type. So on the floor, am I taking walk-ins? Am I taking B-backs? Am I taking, prior customers, orphan owners, service conversions, referrals, internet, whatever? Where are my sources coming from? Okay, what are the sources for my ups? What type? Am I taking a walk-in up? Am I taking a phone up? Am I taking an internet up? Okay, so I'm tracking my ups, where they're coming from, what type. Now I'm tracking how many, and then what am I doing with them? How many, what is my outbound attempts? Outbound phone call, email, text, social media, DMs, whatever. My connections, my appointments, my shows, my presentations, my sales, and the ones that didn't spot, why not? And are the ones that are left over, what am I doing with them? And so at the end of it, it's the reconciliation. So if I'm doing a one-on-one, I might turn around and, I give you a lot of information. But if I prep you, let's say in the beginning of November, I prepped LA with the proper projecting and forecasting that's customized to his individual and family wants, needs, expectations. And at the end of the month or in the beginning of the month, when I'm going to do, before I turn around and help LA with his projection and forecasting in December, the first thing I'm going to do is reconcile with him how did his month turn out? I'm like, hey, LA, your goal was to sell 30 cars. You were supposed to get X amount from walk-in, B-back, internet, phone, prior, etc. Let's see where we landed, and let's see if that's a good job or there's areas of improvement. Okay, I'm like, well, LA, first of all, you sold 28 cars. Great job. Okay, let's see what held us up from getting to 30. Okay, see here how you're projecting the service. You only had one sale from the service drive. So an opportunity that we have in December is for some more training and reinforcement for service. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put our service writer, to spend an hour with you to help you there. And hey, if we do that, we should be able to push you over that 30 edge. But LA, look at this. Ooh, look what I just found. You actually were only projecting 3 sales from your referrals. You got 5. So you overcompensated for that. So you should have been technically at 32. Do you see what I'm saying, LA? And managers, see what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to reconcile what their projected and forecast was basically with their actual results. What did they wind up with? And with that intelligence, that information, I'm going to be able to identify LA's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to go into the next month, LA.
Absolutely. Sean, you're killing it, man. Again, this is probably going to be notated as LA's favorite podcast, man, because there was so much information that was shared. I'm telling you, I'm going to make it for our, monthly support clients, for the clients that I work with on a one-on-one basis. I'm going to say, listen, this is required. This is required listening, and we're going to discuss it, right? I might even be playing some of this during some of my classes because, Sean, man, you absolutely over-delivered on what it takes to deliver a quality one-on-one. So listen, I'm telling y'all,
before
if you're
you go,
a listener,
so LA, here's what I'm going to say then. I appreciate that and I respect your opinion. So what we should do is we should definitely break this into modules.
Yeah,
for Bradley
absolutely.
Demand. So speaking of which, dealers, we have the world's largest automotive training platform. We have a video on demand, training, tracking, testing, artificial intelligence role playing, artificial intelligence scorecard, and certification. So we have the most advanced training, tracking, testing, certification on the planet, complete with full-blown AI, artificial intelligence role play, artificial intelligence scorecard. And then we're going to put this into there. So we're going to have a section LA for management for, how to create one-on-ones. And then we could just break this entire podcast into modules, and then we could create supporting stuff around it.
Let's go. We're going to make it happen, y'all. Listen, I'm telling y'all, you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with, and you've just been spending time with L.A. Williams, the Blind Master, and Mr. Sean V. Bradley, CSP. It's your turn. Go out there and be a millionaire car salesman. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. If you liked it, you're going to love Bradley On Demand. Bradley On Demand is the most advanced virtual training, tracking, testing, and certification platform. What does that mean? It's an online university. And if you like this information here, we have hundreds and hundreds of advanced videos, step by step, on how to help you sell more cars more often and more profitably. So sign up now.